My name is Dami and my job title is Chair of the Young Advisors to the Young Mayor for Lewisham. As a chair, it's my job to regulate the meetings, make sure everything's going in order, make sure there's no arguing, and also oversee the agenda, say what's going in which place and what happens during the meetings. Well, I got involved in all of this. It was purely by a stroke of luck. So I went to Deptford Green School for my years 7 to 11, where we have really, really, really great citizenship teachers. And one of them told me that I'd be perfect to stand up for the election of young mayor. And I thought it would be simple. I was wrong. I did absolutely nothing, and I think I came in like 33rd place. My fault. But then the second year I decided I'd do a proper run of things. I'd do it properly this time. So I stood up again, and I went to about 8 to 10 different schools. I gave speeches. I did all the sorts of things that a normal politician would do, canvassing campaign just to try and get votes. And it worked because I got voted Deputy Young Mayor. And then I got invited into the council, obviously, because I was the elected official. And then, yeah, the rest, as they say, is history. At that point in time, I think it was the greatest moment of my life. Cause it was like to think, because I was about 13 to 14, and to think that the young people of Lewisham had actually voted for me. I mean, what had I done? And they voted for me. I mean, I may not have been the young mayor, but, second place, deputy young mayor, it's not something to be laughed at. Definitely. I think we need to see more young people involved in social responsibility, because the stereotypes that surround young people, it's just, as I said before, the media only sees what young people do wrong, not what they do right. And if more young people get involved in local politics groups, because it's something that I call soft politics, is where, not like the stuff that goes in Parliament, but the stuff that affects you in your day-to-day life. When more young people start getting involved in soft politics, they start realising that they can change their surroundings, they can change what they can do, and they start learning how to use their voice, which is a very, very valuable skill in the future, because we all have a voice and we have freedom of it, something that most countries do not have, and it's something that young people need to appreciate. If you don't like something, you can say something about it. I've got to go to uni first, that's a must. But in the next 10 years, I'd like to see myself either as a low-level MP, because, miracles don't really happen that often, so, you've got to start from the bottom. So I'd like to see myself as a low-level MP. Or I would like to see myself as a councillor, but involved with the public, if you understand what I mean. I either want to be an MP or a councillor, but I want to be more involved with the public than most people are. Like, I want to, help, join volunteer groups. Like, I want to be like an MP who's part of the St John's Ambulance and the Reserve Police Officer and all, everything that is possible to try and make the community better through, your own primary active ways as well, getting your own hands dirty. If I could be anything at all, I think I'd be, and feel free to cringe here, I think I'd be the Secretary General of the United Nations. Kofi Annan, after seeing him and what he did, especially he is one of the very, very, very few people in history to have the guts to tell one of the most powerful leaders of the free world, one of the most powerful countries, and tell them they can't do something because it's illegal. I think someone like that, and that's what I'd like to be. I'd like to be secretary just so I can be out, so I can do what's right. It may not be enacted on, but at least I can say what's right, and at least people will listen to me, if not necessarily do anything.